Yes, indeed. Welcome, welcome. This is the OK Conversation on OKFM 99.5. We have with us Dr. Syrulwa Somah. Uh, no, I think you should do it like that. Yeah, perfect. Welcome again, sir.
Thank you once again for having me.
Yeah, and we appreciate the fact that you're open to always come and release your knowledge freely to Liberian people before you can make your way back to the U.S. Is it today or tomorrow you're traveling back?
No comment.
Okay. Now, where do we start from? So let's we want to look at Liberia's contributions to different international things, our involvement, and all of that. But there is something we ended up on talking about. I know who gave you going?
Yarkpawolo will get you going.
Yeah, you said you wanted to talk about that. Yeah, so give us the details about that whole stuff.
Well, Yarkpawolo.
You can just speak a little louder too.
Okay, thank you. Yarkpawolo's situation actually disabled the Republic of Liberia for a very, very long time. Yarkpawolo was a very young gentleman who graduated from the Poro University, and I always use that word university. He had a Guinean background. During those days when Firestone entered Liberia, the Guineans also came to work. In Division 26, the young man who had the freedom to go hunting and engage in healings and his tradition, beating the sangba and dancing behind the betu and the ngamoy. They were all forcefully recruited by Firestones to chiefs who had to contribute labels in order for them to hold on to their positions and get paid. Yarkpawolo was one of those. Well, he arrived in Firestone, and the expectation was not what he saw. To make the matter worse, the supervisor was loving to his sister. Then he turned around and loved to Yarkpawolo's wife.
The same supervisor?
That's correct.
He loved to Yarkpawolo's sister?
And then his wife.
Okay.
So the situation went to Boniwen during those days. It was where,
around which years are we talking about here?
Who was 64, 65, somewhere around there. Okay, in his upper 60s. And because he had money, he influenced the decision. So the judge at that time said that Yarkpawolo was lying. And so he called a big feast and started dancing and boasting that he had won Yarkpawolo in an attempt to humiliate him. And this is what got Yarkpawolo angry. And took a gun and fired and killed. So he jumped into the grove. And I'm telling you, there were soldiers, Liberian soldiers, who could not overcome the gentleman. He would come to Firestone shopping centers and buy or wherever he needed and just right back into the grove. He would instantaneously disappear before soldiers who were chasing him.
Oh, so that means he have fetish powers?
Yes,
or supernatural powers?
Supernatural power. So until, according to the legend, you had to read the book. he could appear in different places.
Did you write about it?
Oh yeah, I wrote about the book. I brought it. In fact,
Well, what is the title of it?
Yarkpawolo the Betrayer. or the betrayal of Yarkpawolo.
Oh, the betrayal of Yarkpawolo.
Yes. I today presented a copy to the University of Liberia to Dr. Josephine Gray to be read and taught, in the Liberian
So what
study
the song?
program.
Who made the song? Yarkpawolo, who gave you going? Liberia gave you
After he was captured, they posted.
by the army.
That's correct.
Okay.
But no. Sorry, not by the army. No, the army couldn't get him until they went to Nimba to a. I don't like to use the word medicine, man. It kind of sound negative. But to the spiritualist, these African spiritualists, and he and his young lady, not his daughter, but in order to actually capture Yarkpawolo, you needed a girl who did not know about man's business. That's what we said in Liberia. So after preparing the medicines
That
and
is a
everything,
virgin.
that's correct. And then right there in Division 26, what they were looking for Yarkpawolo all over the world of Liberia.
That's in Magibi.
Yes, in Margibi. Yes, in Firestone. And there where this man captured him. But it was not an easy event to actually capture Yarkpawolo. But President Secretary actually got annoyed with President Tutman. Because it's
Over that incident.
Yes, because in the book, honestly, I didn't end his life. But in actuality, the God disposed of him. But Secretary did not like the idea because they wanted to know how in the world a Liberian or a Guinean you could look at him and shoot him or shot him to no avail. You couldn't kill him. Other people may look at it like, it's a fairy tale. But this thing happened in the United States. There was a gentleman. He was an Indian. His name was Geronimo. Gun did nothing to him. They had to go through his nephew to convince him and say, Uncle, get the thing away. And that was the only way they were able to capture Geronimo in the United States. That same resistance that Yarkpawolo had, that's what Secretary wanted for Liberia to not kill him so that we could steady him to teach the Liberians or the African. His situation it's a sad situation in the history.
But we saw a whole lot of it during the war. People had that kind of power. There are people who.
Oh yeah, but the thing is, we are not appreciative of the power. Whether it's metaphysics, whether it's healing. There was a man that I know, his name was Mwenji Ta. Look around Ta. He was from Ghana. I saw him, not to say. I was attending Christian high school. Mwenji Ta could join your bones in 3 days. And what he did was to break the bones of a chicken and compare it with yours. Man, there were people in this country. We can even go back to the former defense minister's mother, Daniel Chie, his mother, Nyenyida. If you had gone to him and you were doing something fishy, don't go there with your wife. Don't go there and try to bluff this lady. You didn't even have to ask her a question to go from the day you came on the earth to the time that you are sitting. We have people who could kill diseases and things like that. But you see, we have made the European ways of life to be better than what we are today.
So going back to Yarkpawolo, what you're saying is Secretary, the president of Guinea, then was more interested in his powers, the ability of studying his powers or allowing him to pass it over to others.
Yes, that's what people do. Look, Julius, the cell phone that you and I are using today, do you know it was invented in Africa, or the concept started in Africa? Wireless communication came from the talking drum. There was a certain time when they beat the drum, they would tell you, say, don't come to town, the soldiers are here to arrest you. or the slave masters or the Arabs are coming behind you. In the Poro and the Sandy, we learn how to communicate and send different tunes that will inform you if somebody died in the village or if leper had killed someone. Doo-doo, doo-doo, doo-doo. Or you can say boom, 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 boom. All these sounds, different sounds. All of them, different meanings and reason. But we look down on them and we elevate what is not ours. And the horns that do not fit you, you can wear it from now to the judgment day, it won't fit. To borrow another person's lapa or trouser, it may be looking good on you, but it doesn't belong to you.
It is the concept, the argument about what is witch and what is good.
By whose definition?
That's the problem too.
By whose definition? That my way of life is witch, but another person's way of life is what? Spiritual, is holy, or is godly? We all see the world in which we live through different lenses. That's what people need to know. The language that you speak is spiritual, like your mother's tongue. That's the language you heard when you came on the earth. And when the Zoe sang the song of your arrival, ha hi, ha hi. If you are a girl, they will sing it or chant 3 times. Boy, 4 times. And they will welcome you to the earth. The day you die and they get ready to bury you, that same language will take you from the earth to the ancestor. Who determined that another person's language or mother tongue is better than yours? And this is where we are lacking our educational system to teach us to be ourselves and not to be another person.
Very, very interesting. It is. Well, we've allowed all of that to erode over time. Even the history of our country, the contributions that Liberia is thought to have made to the independence movements across Africa and all of that. A whole lot of people don't talk about them. In other countries, they don't mention the role that Liberia played. And when you go back in time, you realize that it was significant. How did we allow all of that to pass by?
You know, I want you to, the day you have the time, to go in the interior to watch the baby goat. Every morning, the little goat will jump up and down. Mm-hmm. Jump up and down. It is say, I am here. We Liberians, we got to say, we are, for somebody to say, thou art. Our own history, complete history, and our contribution to the movement, independent movement of Africa. We don't teach it in our classroom. The history we teach, like European history, not Liberian history.
Maybe there's not much written.
No, well, yeah, to some extent, if much is not written, who is responsible for that? And this is why we need to revise our history to be inclusive and add our contribution. Here is a nation that participated in the establishment of the World Health Organization, the establishment of the OAU, now AU, the ECOWAS. By the way, we established the OAU and sent the headquarters to Addis Ababa. ECOWAS, we sent it to Nigeria. We are the most in history. We have more ships registered or carrying the flags of the Republic of Liberia since 1944.
I think it is still the same.
Well, where is your Bachelor Science Granting Institute and Master's Institute today? Where do you send them? We send them to Ghana. What I'm saying is,
In terms of maritime, yeah.
yeah, the institute, where it's supposed to be? It's supposed to be right here in the Republic of Liberia. So we are not saying or behaving like a little goat to say, here we are. Had it not been Liberia, most of the independent nations that they are all there today. They won't be.
We are told about people like Nelson Mandela coming here, Kwame Nkrumah, Sekou Touré, the different support given by top men and others. You want to comment on those?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because we were Mr. Africa. When Todman spoke during those days, he spoke on behalf of Africa. The only African president to meet the Queen of England, and she also visited the Republic of Liberia.
There are rumors of something romantic happening between them. Is it true or not?
I'm not going to go into that.
Well, it is historical now. So.
Well, historical. People have admiration for people. See, because of their behavior, their tenacity, their contribution to humanity. Liberia did lot. So if somebody admired, the president at that time, their romantic description, we got to look into that. I know it's history, but the focus here is the type of work that our nation had done in the past that made it more respected among nations, like drew the attention. For example, the first prime minister for Israel, Golda Meir, visited Liberia and herself decided to become member of the Sandy University, what they call Butch. You see, we call it a Butch, and you got people coming from Europe and other places that held it in reverence, this institution. This is the Liberia that we are talking about. Brought war to an end, as we said the other day during our discussions in the Congo. With Corporate Johnson, again, another metaphysics or spiritual power, because when they were shooting at him to hold a flare, according to legends and history, nothing happened to him.
You mean in Congo?
In the Congo. This is Liberia, man. This is a nation that stood.
So he had those same powers to
yes
to ward off bullets.
Look, people may put it another way. They don't. It was their belief system. That what worked for them. What people are thinking. You and I, we are spiritual.
Well, so maybe and that's why the Americans, the Israelis, these other big countries, they have the Iron Domes where bombs and missiles come in.
You tell me.
Yeah.
You tell me. Is that not wage? Is that wage? Let me tell you. The oldest iron metal was made in Africa 2,000 years ago. It never got rusty. Payloads of irons were manufactured. Metallurgy started in Africa. We had civilization that lasted for years before European civilization. How do you think we survived? The concept of airplane and vessel came from Egypt. So what are people thinking? That you and I, we are spiritual. There's a direct connection to the God and us. And the God is within. Every creation of the world, every came from within. So we shouldn't overlook ourselves. There were people in Liberia when you walk behind them and then the grove just covered them, you could not see them any longer. They were gone. We were part of nature. We were the breeze of the earth. Our pillow, 3. Even though when you go to biblical now, they were saying the Son, in the name of the Son, the Father, and the Holy Ghost. No. Before that, you had God, Man and the environment. The environment speaks to us. The songs that we sing and we dance, the sounds of the birds. We are part of nature and we are spiritual. So we shouldn't look at the thing like which. We should look at it like our attributes that God gave us, and we need to write it down and teach. I had a old lady going to my house. She is about 120 years old plus. Had never seen the gynecologist, never been to any dentist, and she is home. Herbs. We are afraid to boil our own guava, leaves, concoct it and drink it. We want Lipton.
But people talk about measurement with herbs, and people go overdose and all those kinds of things.
All right. Then we go to medicine. When did it start? The invention of penicillin. You're talking to somebody with a medical background in occupational safety and health and toxicology. These things were learned. They were learned from Egypt. Medicine. The father of medicine was an African or black man. So the measurement that they are talking about, our people did it. It's only when you want to undo people, you use their culture against them. Let me tell you something we study in medicine. We call it atrogenesis. Atrogenesis means that you try to operate on someone, you make a mistake, and you kill the person. Or you try to get in the medicine, you get in the wrong medicine. If you look at how many people die in Europe and in the United States based on atrogenesis, nobody will be in Liberia telling me that measurement of drugs and the person gonna die. Our people knew the system. They knew the measurement. How many liquid they could put in your nose, like since I've been here, or over your coffee. You know, they could heat you and cover you with blanket for you to sweat. All those stuff, we lost them, man. So now so how do we become this independence when we depend on people to give us drugs, to everything that we do? We depend on them. What happened to this system that God gave us as today Liberians? And I think we need to go back to our educational system. We need to stop being afraid of ourselves, to turn toward our trees in Liberia. There are more than 75 of them that have been identified, and you can concoct and drink it and sell it and be healthy.
Is it true that people can fly, or used to fly, or can fly? People can vanish, and all that stuff. Is it true?
Let's go to the Egyptian civilization. One of the largest structure. There were no machine in the world. No machine. No yellow machine. But they built that bigger structure.
And that's the pyramids.
The Pyramid of Giza and other places and things like that. Tell me, how do you think they did it? How do you think they did it? We are spiritual people. That's what people need to understand. The Africans are spiritual people. Spirituality. We work with our ancestors who left this earth. This atomic power that is in us is not big. You can't see it. But it has power. I know people just sit and the man say he's educated, he's talking about flying and all that stuff and things like that. What do you think? We had a direct link. Do you know the African had crossed the Atlantic Ocean and gone to places like Mexico before Christopher Columbus? In ships, people went there. The Azuma, the Mende, right from Sierra Leone, they crossed and went to Mexico. You had every pyramid around the world facing the same direction in places like Peru and South America. How did they do it? To undo people, you go to that technology. We discussed that the other day. When the Chinese invented gunpowder, gun, and was stolen by the Portuguese. They came to Africa with gun in their hand. They had the power. Second, they came with the gospel, what they call the Bible, in their hand to take away our belief systems. Number three, the language. You me sitting there, you and I were fighting over English. Where is our national language so that you and I can engage in it? We talk about proverbs and adjectives. I know the other day you and one gentleman, what was his word you were trying to pull ability to? What was that? What was it? Accessibility or something?
Necessitability.
Necessitability. You see? So that I feel sorry for our folks. The mother tongue. You know, all the writing that I do, people read it and say, oh, Dad, you know, and in the state I tell them, I learned it from my grandparents. I learned it from the Poro, Institute. I sat down with the chiefs and they told me stories. When people die, you had to go and eulogize, but there was certain language you use. You couldn't just go and talk foolishness and things like that. So we learned how to communicate and things like that. But today, you have me sitting down here and you and I, we are fighting over English language.
Let's hear some of the titles of some of the books that people listening they may want to buy on Amazon. There are people watching from overseas and everywhere else. Let's get some of them.
Well, we have Historical Resettlement of Liberia and its Environmental Impact. The first book that I wrote is still popular. It's being taught at various universities and colleges in looking at the environment. When you bring two different persons with two different genotype and phenotype together, the impact it has on the environment. People look at the environment called bush. One of the country thing we do in Liberia is a bush. This man is in the bush. What you doing in the bush? But it's a grove, the creations of God, where you have all your medicine and everything there. So when they settle the king, their view of the environment and the indigenous view put together,
there was a clash.
Okay, we call it non-fiction. Thank you so much. I think you got what I'm saying. So historical resettlement is there. Then you get Edenic, the African values. The Garden of Eden was in Africa. People will argue again. It is there. The rivers and Pihon, Gihon, all the way to Turkey, those places were Asia, Mano. Look at the old map and things like that. So that book look at the spirituality, the way we look at God being invisible through the ancestral.
Maybe you should just spell your name once we put it in, because you've written a whole lot of material.
Yes. Then we came to Doba Chanchwa. Doba Chanchwa was a compendium, so that means different authors who came together, but I headed that because we are not known for literature. So I asked all Liberians send a chapter for to write the first collective or anthology, and that was published. Doba Chanchwa was published. Then we went on to Nyanya Gomla, History, Migrations and Government of the Bassa. This is why I don't belong to no political party anywhere. We are not political party people. You don't have to be partisan to be patriotic and love your country. But ultimate love is to the nations of Liberia. So it doesn't matter who becomes president. If you have job for me to do, I will come. I don't have to be a political. So I don't belong to no political party. I think it's divisive. I think we can work through councilism. Instead of having the minister alone on education, put a council together. A council on agriculture, a council on education, a council on road construction. And they will make a recommendation. They will think they become a think. They will know what is democracy, what is Jefferson. I know we can't get into that today. But I wrote a book to open the eyes of Africa and Liberia.
That sounds like a form of socialism, a modern kind of socialism.
So what? Do you want to discuss that? What is socialism? People put negative connotations on this thing. Look, we battle. If I had a cow and you needed it, and I needed a sheep, you give it to me. We didn't look at all kind of stuff that way. No man will be in a town with a farm. This is what Dr. Tubana Tipo started when they say the susu or the ku. We come to your farm, we bred you. We come to my everybody in that village or in that kingdom, we have a farm. We never have homeless. So which one is better? Which one is better? Capitalism, where somebody come and exploit your natural resources and take it from you and carry it to their own country, and nothing there for you. So we can debate all these stuff, okay? But Nyanya Gomla, history of migrations and government of the Bassa. From there, we went to Yuangayu. Yuangayu, because when I was growing up in Liberia here, Tom Sawyer was my hero. Ray Van Winkles, so Europeans. I didn't have any cultural heroes yet. Congratulations to Liberians who wrote more than the cassava part and all that kind of stuff, but it was limited. So my desire was to put Liberia on the map when it came to literature. So I spent about 12 plus years writing Yuangayu, and it is up there. From Yuangayu, I move on to my current work, Roots and Routes, the migrations of all the ethnic groups in Liberia, where they begin from. We start with humanity, using whether creation, whether you believe in the Bible, but the oldest relics that were found, where they were found, and how we migrated through different civilizations. And before coming to Liberia, what is known as Liberia today, so I went back and looked at Liberia. That book is available. I have the 50 Moral Laws. Also, it's another book that I wrote, so that we look at these things that we never used to do, or that we should do. You do wrong, you apologize, you treat yourself or other people like the way you want to be treated. So that book is there, the 50 Moral Laws. Then chemistry, introductions to toxicology. You guys were talking about drugs. I was listening. What drugs can do to the brains. A glass of beer can destroy about 5,000 cells in the brains, and some people don't know that. You talk about drugs, but then you talk about alcohol. Drugs is illicit. Alcohol is legal, but that legality also can harm you. So there are two types. Those things need to be.
He said that.
I'm just emphasizing that, so people need to understand that there is something called synergistic effects. You combine two different chemicals, and the impact is either increases or it decreases. So there are a lot of stuff going on here when you come to drugs. So that book and the environment, the toxic chemicals in the environment, I think Liberia needs that book. My publications is strictly to help my country, to help Africa, but my country
and
first.
We're not even going to the environmental issues, because you're an environmentalist.
That's correct.
And all that. Perhaps on another time we come back to Liberia. So how do you spell your name again so that people can just put it in?
Well, look, I was born January the 1st. My mom said that she got dressed and she was going to dance.
That's interesting, because my first daughter was born January 1.
Oh, really?
2010. Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. Congratulations. We are good people, man. We come to a happy time. So my mom said, Mosa Urua is Bassa. Sa means to grab. Urua means attention. Because it's a feast going on, and people going to dance, and you show up now. So all the attention will turn to you. So my name is Syrulwa. But when she is very, very happy or she wants me to do something, she call me Bowe. Bowe means the last bush you can brush before the farming ends, the brushing ends. So to be the last is also called Bowe. So it's very easy. Syrulwa Somah. Syrulwa. And the last name is Somah.
Syrulwa. Syrulwa Somah.
Yes.
SOMAH, Dr. Syrulwa Somah. Folks, for 3 different times we've been able to bring him in, and a whole lot of knowledge. We do our best to upload the 3 different interviews to our YouTube page as well, so that they are always there. With the new policy of Facebook, after 30 days deleting these videos, so we'll do that. Yeah. So I'll upload all three of them to the YouTube. Send you the links as well, so that people can always follow. 777-700-995-555-995. The numbers to call. Let's hear you. Welcome. Hello. Okay, it went off. Welcome. Hello?
Yeah, hello.
Yes, go ahead. Let's hear you.
Okay. My name is Shetan Miller. I live in Brazil. I want to commend your guest, Dr. Somah. I mean, all of those things he's saying, I think I got knowledge of most of them. The Juangaju and whatever is that Juangaju. For me, it's a story, it's a long or any story where you get many education as a traditional man or person. So I want to tell that Somah, I'm thinking, how can I get some of the book that he's talking about?
Okay, he will say that. Let's take more calls. 777-700-995-555-995-995. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Well, good evening, Julius.
Yes, go ahead.
T. Benjamin Myers.
Mm-hmm.
I want to thank the studio guest for his brilliant presentation. It is a very cogent historical reminder of where we came from, our importance, and how we need to leverage that in this age of modernity to still remain relevant and independent in the best way possible, and not be reliant on Western knowledge, philosophy, and what have you. But he mentioned civilization originating from Egypt. And true to his words, I read a book written by Dr. George G.M. James that he titled The Stolen Legacy. The Stolen Legacy was a compilation of physics, chemistry, philosophy, and all the technical disciplines you can think about within the Axiom Temple in Egypt. And history recalls that philosophers from Greece and Athens heard about the growth of philosophy in Egypt, and they wanted to have conquered the culture because they knew for a fact that if they had allowed their Axiom Temple to remain independent without being invaded, we would have been the best philosophers in the world. So they put together a band of military personnel that stormed Egypt, invaded the Axiom Temple, and made away with most of our historical artifacts. And that was how they became very sophisticated in philosophy and other disciplines, relying on knowledge gained from Africa. And that was how the Pythagorean theory and all other theories were established. That book is also a very rich book, and I just like the fact that his presentation has rebuilt our confidence and has made us understand that we are independent, and we have a way that we can leverage our independence even in the 21st century. So I'm urging everybody to grab that book called The 50 Moral Rules. And that 50 Moral Rules, I was just reading on Google just not about it. I think it is something that we need to learn, and most of our
You mean
kids need to have.
the one that Dr. Somah
The
wrote?
the one that he just mentioned.
Okay.
I was just looking at the introduction of it on Google. I think it's something very, very interesting. I've not read into it, but I think it's interesting from just the introduction I read on Google.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Thanks so kindly, Ben. He has written enough. Yeah. Let's come to you on this end. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Yeah, Julius, good afternoon. And let me say good afternoon to Dr. Somah. I've been following all your series that maybe you ended with him today. But you see, he's so interesting. And sometimes when people who talk way by stories concerning the Africans, people don't listen to you that much because we are being Europeanized, Americanized. But certain things he said that I want to believe with him. He said, how do you think that people were meeting those days? They lay far off places. But when they want to meet, and then they meet. You know, in my town that I come from, we used to have our great-grandfather. They call him Biobeglo. That Biobeglo man, he has certain bird. He has certain bird that he can give message to. But lady who can give that message it to the after bird. When they rally, when they say, well, I don't want to see people, you know, those days they used to fight the Sadra war, and, you know, get on your friend there. When there's a crisis and you want people, water them all around the villages and all fire with them, you will tell the after bird to go call the people. And how the bird can tell the people, so that when it read, like maybe it read, they will go on one under one horse. They say, you don't just say your cow. You don't just, and they can send the message. In less than 1-2 days, you will see that people coming to play you want them to meet. Those are telephone we have today because people again they are practiced and they know how to deal with our people. Even certain areas in one region where a missionary man, you know, so crafted that he can even speak our place. And then he can do one woman, the woman say, I will take you to our those days they call it the local places they call kind. And then let you ordinary do we kind them that will be 10 hour men before you see those places. And then he took the men there and all the other there, you take the rally, a tent to airplane. You take the one, a tent to airplane. You take this, you just get only you go. And then around at the airport, the men saw the place, you were astonished. They say cow in that place. There were 2-3 cows.
Okay.
The cow very down, eat down. Then the woman took peace and came to the man and said, no, I can't eat cow 2 times. I ate it last night. So these are some of the things just to discover what bring in a diner that are good and we don't want to bring in a day. So I want to thank you so much. You know, when you start to do those kind of things, thank you that you want to undo the European men. The people, they are powerful, they got money. You know,
Okay.
Taking place now, even in our home, the Burkina Faso are going there. They got powerful money, powerful demon.
Thanks so kind. Yeah, that would be for another day, sir. Thanks so kindly. Let's take other people. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Good evening, Julius.
Let's go ahead.
Yeah, so my name is Maurice Yase, and I do you from the township of West Point. You know, Julius, let me say thank you for always bringing this. I don't know, I would say old man, I would say young man, but for the people, always bringing the people on go. See, he remind me when as a child coming, or you know, in a rural era, there's a drum. The drum he talk about in my dad, they call it Sanklama. And you, any part of the era there, and they play that drum. No matter what happens, you will hear the sound. And people can interpret the sound based on the reason they play the drum, as he said. So, for example, when he died, you get special way to play it. When there's a war or something terrible happens, you get special way to play. When I play, when program is dance and whatever, get way to play. So sometimes when they play, our grandmother used to tell, oh, something terrible happened. You gotta go to town. And automatically, everybody will be running to town. And when you get to town, trust me, they will tell you exactly that bad thing happened, all that good thing happened based on the information your grandparents will pass on. So I think it's always good to bring the people on board so that we can feel well. And lastly, before I leave with you, I want to ask you, next time you feel like you give a little brief understanding as to why the name place to put it was changed to Monrovia after James Monroe. Thank you very much.
Okay, thanks so kindly. Some messages. Edwin Rex Kwangbai, do you know that our people during those days used to live up to 100 plus years when they were taking those country herbs? But nowadays, please check around you and see how many people die in a single day since the introduction of medicine from the other side. We need to reintroduce our cultural practices. I remember in my village in Bond County, if someone died, it would take for a year before we hear about another one. And those were all older people, not the younger ones of these days of medicine. Ja Eddie says you wrote the books using the European language. Dauda Rogers. The information your guests gave about many from Sierra Leone, not true. Many Pashu Liberia enter in Sierra Leone along with Vi. What name changed to Kono and settled in Lofa first in the area called Vahum? So does it mean they did not go to Mexico? He didn't say they came from Mexico. He said they visited Mexico way back before Christopher Columbus. I remember Dr. Awola says time is already out. So let's just go back to our guests to wrap up.
Well, look, thank you for having me. That's all I can say. I believe in empirical data. I believe in research, solid research, not just words and misinterpretations of stuff. This is how we got into trouble, and we are where we are today. So I'm just delighted to be here to participate. I will be back here next year, same month, from June to July. I'm very sad that I came to bury my younger sister, then the female soccer player that I had helped for 9 years, that she have been traveling with me. She is dead mysteriously, and we buried her on Saturday. That is very, very sad for me. But Liberia is my home. We love this nation, and our goal and objectives here is to always provide the kind of education that is needed to help our people and build a wonderful nation. So thank you so much for having me.
Okay, thanks to kindly sir as well for always availing yourself to our call to educate the people and for holding these very high level conversations. Trust me, it has made impact. Okay, that's how we go. Tomorrow will be another day right here on the OK Conversation on OKFM 99.5. Next up is the news on OKFM 99.5.